My friends in high school used to call him Smiley. He always had a smile on his face, and in fact, one of my friends used to he would say the worst things he could think of just to see if he could make him frown, and he couldn't do it.
I always say that Sean studied hard, he worked hard, and he played harder.
I mean, they were college kids. They were just out having fun. They didn't realize that this could happen. And, yeah, I don't know.
It was the Saturday of Easter Sunday. Well, I heard the phone ringing. Finally, I got up and stumbled out to the living room. This man says, "Is this Jenny Carter?" And I said, "Yes," and right away there's a hitch. You know, your whole gut just clenches, because you know something's wrong. He said, "I need to let you talk to the emergency room physician." So the doctor got on the phone and he started listing off all of Sean's injuries. And Sean had a lot of injury, a lot of injury. The driver stated to the police at the scene that he had had from 12 to 15 beer in an hour. The driver was not injured. My son was critically injured.
So, here I sit. I have not been able to talk or walk in 6.5 years. I use this computer to communicate. How could this happen to me? A prisoner of my own body.
What's real important for people to understand is that Sean has a brain injury. Everything related to his inability now is because of that brain injury. But he did not get hit in the head. Nothing touched his head. At the point of impact, Sean's head continued to move. And as his head went from side to side, his brain rubbed up against the inside of his skull. And it caused this injury called a severe diffuse axonal injury. It is the worst type of brain injury because it covers the whole brain.
I'd say that alcohol is probably involved in about half of our patients. Well, I think with Sean, at first he was very discouraged. That period of time when he knew he wasn't going to be exactly who he was before the accident, it took him a while to accept.
When Sean first came home from the hospital, he couldn't do anything. He'd just gotten out of diapers. He couldn't, I had to hand him a urinal. He couldn't feed himself. He could do nothing. And he wanted to die. He wanted to die.
I guess while my brain was still foggy, things didn't really matter. But once my mind started working again, and I realized all that I was unable to do, life became a living hell.
There was a time when he, right after the wreck, my mom had told me that he was in his wheelchair, and they lived in this apartment complex with a swimming pool. And he was, had gone out there to try to drive himself into the pool.
The most common question people ask is he going to be 100%? And the answer to that is no, because there's certain injury aspects that will never be repaired. But I tell parents that they still might be able to pursue 100% of their goals in life.
There's a bigger story here with Sean, honestly, and that's no matter how bad life is, you can make good things happen. And that's real important to us. We're getting out and he shares his message and the kids see that light shine from within him.
If I knew then that the decision I would make the night of March 27th, 2005 would affect the rest of my life, putting me here in this wheelchair unable to walk or talk, you can bet I would have not done what I did. Don't drink and drive. And please don't make my mistake of riding with someone who has been drinking.
If we know that we've saved one life, then all the effort it's been to get there is worth it.
Although I may not look like it, I have the same kind of thoughts that you might have. I dream of falling in love, getting married, and having children of my own. I dream of driving again. I dream of running along a beach, or riding a bike, or just getting up and walking from my bed to the couch in the living room.
You cannot allow yourself to lose hope, that at no point do you ever give up. You just can't do it.
I am called like speaker. However, this iPad speaks what I type, so I suppose it would be more accurate to say, I am a public typist. I never had the chance to finish college before my life turned upside down, but if I could have, I would have loved to be an Eckie. I am very proud to say we have partnered with Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension Services Watch Your Back program on the Text.grant to bring our program to communities by speaking at schools and other venues throughout Texas. This is an email I received last week a few days after we spoke at a high school. Thank you for coming to my school Wednesday. When we were called to the auditorium for a drug awareness assembly, me and many others thought it was just going to be some slideshow of meth heads and someone telling us that drugs and booze are bad. But I was so shocked when you proved to everyone that drunk driving has real consequences. After the assembly, I bawled my eyes out. It really opened my eyes about drinking and driving. Thank you again for coming to my school. This email is just an example of the feedback I receive frequently after we speak. It shows what my mom and I are doing is making a difference. The grant funds 50 presentations this fiscal year, and we have done 10 so far. We have business cards with us, or you can contact Texas A&M Agri-Life if you are interested in our program. And of course, my mom always has to add her 2 cents. Here is my mom, Jenny Carter.
It's my turn now. You know, we started in 2005. Well, I wondered what we were going to do with our lives. And early on, I realized that Sean had a lot to share. And we started out actually speaking for Mothers Against Drunk Driving at some of their VIPs in Dallas. And over time, we progressed and we started a nonprofit agency. It's called, or charity called, WhenSeanSpeaks. And it's really funny since Sean doesn't speak. But God let a lot of irony be worked out in our lives. And we started this nonprofit to fund our speaking and also to do good works for other traumatic brain injury survivors. And this year, actually last year, we were blessed by A&M because we contracted with them to do 12 presentations. And then this year, we submitted a grant, and it was suggested that maybe we were still pretty new, so yeah, you can have the money, but you probably want to go under Texas A&M, and of course we said yes. That's pretty prestigious to us. So this past month, the month of October, the grant just started October 1st, and we have now spoken, just in the month, 10 presentations to over 8,150 kids. So we're really proud of that. And as Sean says, as he read that message, we get messages from every school that we go to. And our goal when we speak is just to touch one life, just one life.
We spoke last week at Central High School in Keller, and I don't know how many of you have heard of the affluenza verdict that happened in Fort Worth, but 8 of the young people that were involved in that crash, not the driver, but 8 of the others, actually attend Central High School. And so, and we weren't aware of that at the time, but a young man came up afterwards just sobbing and told Sean that his best friend is the one that's so tragically injured now. The young man can't speak at all. He only blinks, yes or no. He's paralyzed too. But anyway, our one life goal is certainly being met every day that we speak because of this young man's smile. And 10 years, it'll be 10 years this March. It's hard to believe. We don't dwell on that. We dwell on the happiness in our life, the associations that we have, and the people that we get to meet and work with. And we consider all of you dear friends because of that. So we want to thank you very much. And as Sean said, there's business cards out on the table, the registration table, and we have some with us if you're interested. We always pass them out at every presentation, and that's how kids get our contact information. We encourage them actually to write to us, and they do. They contact us on social media through Facebook and Twitter, but then they write personally to Sean, and he answers every single message that he gets, but he always tells them, I'm not going to talk to you during school. I'll wait till after school, then I'll answer you. So anyway, thank you all very much.
We kind of feel like I've grown up with Sean, like he's one of mine, so I'll take him. I'll fight you for him, Judy. Okay, yeah, I know that. You can send him my way, but thank y'all for coming today. Go ahead.
I plead the fifth.
If you'd like to know more about Sean, and you can visit TxDOT's facesofdrunkdriving.com or Sean's website, which is WhenSeanSpeaks.org. There's a lot of great information out there, and to spread it around and spread the message of hope. That's what it's all about, is hope.